Everyone, it's Dustin with TWPD. Today we're going to be repairing something a little bit complicated. It's the 7 Plus charge port. Remember, I do these videos for my technicians to learn easily and quickly on stuff that we don't do very common. So the phone was in a reboot cycle. I tried a new screen, disconnected all the cables, and eventually concluded it was a charge port by disconnecting the charge port and leaving everything else plugged in. It's a very unusual problem that I have not seen yet, but basically the phone was rebooting. It'd start up with Apple and then turn off. Most of the time I would think it's like a camera, rear camera, front camera that causes that, because a lot of times the impact is really hard. But she did buy an aftermarket charger cable, and it was one of those big old 10-foot ones. Make sure you get MIFI certified when buying cables, so that way you know it's good quality and they're paying the royalty to Apple to know that you're getting an actual official Apple cable. Anyways, so I have the phone already half torn apart, just trying to figure this out. I was not expecting to run into the charge port. You should already have prior knowledge of how to open up an iPhone 7 Plus. If you don't, please watch my other videos on how to open up an iPhone 7 Plus to remove the screen. So we're gonna go ahead and proceed to replace the battery and the charge port while we're doing everything here today. Okay, now that I finally got my camera adjusted here, which is a big pain in the rear, you should totally see it, guys. It is crazy. So, arm stretched out over there. Look at that, that's crazy. Anyways, so I already proceeded to unclip this and test it with a brand new battery charged, and of course it turned on, which is great. Now we got to test the actual charge port itself and make sure it still turns on. So we're just going to clip this in here, and then what you want to do is you want to go through the rounds of testing. So especially if it's not Apple original, but mine is. So it should be fine. Oh, should always disconnect battery. Why doing this? Why plugging in? Okay. Okay, so we're gonna plug this in here, the battery and charge port, and we're gonna give it a go here and turn it on and see if the phone turns on. So remember, it was in a boot cycle here, and when I disconnected the charge port, it started working without the charge port. Everything else was working. The cameras wasn't causing it, screen wasn't causing it, and I totally forgot to plug in the right screen. So let's plug in the right screen so it can boot up quickly here. That was my new screen, because I was wondering if it was the screen that was causing it. Because this one thing that's been replaced in her phone was the screen a while ago. So just double checking the connections here. Okay, now we're gonna see if it turns on. Okay, so the phone stopped rebooting, which is great. So next step is to test the microphone and charge port. Then you can proceed to install it. Okay, so we have tested the microphone and charge port here. And so now we're gonna disconnect the battery. And you can use plastic tools instead of your fingernails, such as this here. So that also works. Okay, so I've only done this once on the 7 Plus. The 6S Plus, we've done a lot of them, just not this particular phone. It is not very common. So some of the other guides online are like tear apart the whole entire phone and blah blah blah, and I'm not all about that. So you're gonna need mainly Phillips for everything except for your a couple motherboard screws. Don't ask me what kind of screw. Oh, actually I do know here. So it's a 2.5 screwdriver and has a little plus sign here. So that's what it looks like. That's your motherboard bit screws. So we're gonna remove each one of these, and we might have to remagnetize this because it's been a while since I've used a standoff screwdriver. If you're wondering where I got this through Mentor or Alibaba or where else? That's some website, random website. You can get them anywhere. Okay, so you just have to remove these two standoff screws and then just use your pentalope screwdriver and just pop out the SIM card. So that way what we're gonna do is lift up the motherboard a little bit when we're getting under there. So take our tweezers here, and we're gonna lift this up off the motherboard if it wants to. Get some better tweezers here. Okay, now that's removed off. Now we can do a bombard of screws. So I think what we're gonna do here is remove our two standoff screws down here. This is just an S-screw screw I found. Let's see if my organization is being shown on the video, because I do kind of want to let you guys see how I organize this. So let's move that right, there we go. Okay, so now that we got this stuff is off to the right, now we can put our screws over here and organize them. So we're gonna start from the very top, which is the top right corner here, and then we're just gonna organize it based on, you know, how it's designed. So this is the Y screwdriver, and we're going to need Phillips, 00, 000. I like to use 000, but not on everything. Okay, so ray magnetized. I'm sorry about all the background noise, but I do go to customers' homes, and this was something I was not expecting I needed to record on YouTube. So we're just gonna bring that down. If we look at it this way, we'll probably bring it right here. And the screw is more over here, so we're gonna bring it right there. And then this one is gonna be next level down, which is right about there. So this screw is right above that screw and off to the right, so we're gonna put that right there. And this screw is directly below the other one on this level here. This one's right next to the other one, so we're gonna do that. That one's right below that one. That one's next to that one. I'd like to have more gap, but I'm running out of room here. So this is more right here direction, so we're just going to keep on going that way. And then the two screws above that. So this one here, this one here, and there's more screws right here, as I remember, yep. Okay, so that's not gonna work. I'm gonna need something more stronger. So I'm gonna actually get my hand tool before I strip it. Lots of force. So we just put it right below those other motherboard screws here. And as I remember, there wasn't a hidden screw like there is on the 6S Plus. 6S Plus, there's a hidden screw right here. And this one does not have that. Okay, so next step is we have to take out all the components out of it. This piece belongs to that screw right here. So don't lose that. No. Yep, it's this piece right here. Slowly, carefully lift this up. Okay, so it's attached to right here. And then it's still attached to the speaker here, which is above it. We're just gonna carefully pull it out. Don't rip it. Okay, comes out this way. There we go. I'll just push this one back in here. And then set that off to the side. So now we're ready potentially to take this out here. You could use a heat gun to help loosen it up if you're trying to take it out without breaking it. But I don't really care because we're not salvaging any of this. Ugh. It's really glued on. Okay, so now all we have to do is lift up the motherboard just a tad and then pull this thing out. Okay, the entire thing is out, and since we're replacing the battery, normally you only have to remove this piece here to replace the battery, but we don't have to. So you're gonna grab the next tab here, put it under your tweezers, and then keep it low as possible. I think one of my pieces of tape did break. We'll have to find out here. Don't puncture the battery. And don't bend it too much. You can use heat if you're afraid of it twisting too much. Just be careful not to cut into the battery, or it can light on fire. Trust me, I've had a few of them in my past do that. It's not fun. Now for the replacement one, the new one here. So here's our cable again. So we gotta remove all this stickiness here, the tape, so it can stick down. Okay, so what we're gonna do is lift up the motherboard just a tad here and then weave the cable in carefully. It's getting stuck, probably because of the tape. Okay, so important obviously, make sure this clips in before putting a stamp of approval on it. Looks like I put it a little too far, so I'm just moving it back down a little bit. And I'm just eyeing it up here and clipping it in. Careful not to slip and hit one of these resistors. I was slipping quite a bit there, but we're good. Okay, so the charge port is in now. Time to put it all back together. It's gonna be fun. So first things first, I'd recommend just putting these bottom screws in. Anytime you replace the charge port, I highly recommending to the customer to replace their battery. The charge port can cause all kinds of problems for the battery, so you just make sure you recommend it highly. That's exactly what we're doing for this one. Where? Oh, there it is. So I put the wrong screw in the wrong hole. This is supposed to go right here, but it seemed to be fine. Guess we're gonna get the motherboard screws back in here. So these cables are really tiny and you have to really work with them here. So I'm using tweezers to pull them back a little bit so they're exactly where they belong. And then other tweezers to push down on them. You have to do this all eye work. Okay, now the battery. I buy most of my parts from Injured Gadgets. They have made some premium batteries in my opinion. They got some, and their screens are top notch. So I really do like buying most of my parts from Injured Gadgets. If you are looking for parts in the United States, contact Tony, and I'll put Tony on blast here if I got his phone number. Oh, it's in my iPhone that's recording right now, so no luck. But just reach out to Tony. He's a good fellow. Helps me out. Okay, so I just plugged in the battery so that way I get the alignment. Let me just disconnect it again. Now for the remainder, sometimes the standoff screw gets stuck on this. So, and that's for your front camera. All you have to do is just hold it with some tweezers and unscrew it. Ooh, it's really tight in there. Sometimes they're super stripped. Oh.
I was going to be at Tosh, and that's where my doctor is, but my heart doctor wouldn't let him do it there because they don't have any heart.
Yeah, that screw might be just too stripped to even pull out.
I've agreed to do it at the other place.
Well, that's normally how you do it. But unfortunately, my screw is stripped. So this can go back in, but you'd have to replace the screw, which I have an extra one here, right here, so it's perfect. Maybe, we'll see here. We'll put the other standoff screw back in. So if you don't know what kind of company we are, we're a mobile company out of Utah and Nevada, and next is Arizona. If you are looking for work, you can always hit me up. If you are looking to mail in your phone to have us do this, we'd be glad to take care of you. But that's the main reason why we have noise in the background, is because of that we come to customers' homes. So when I come across something that I want to record, no matter what the situation is, I pretty much will do it, unless it's just not the right time to do it. So it all depends. Anyways, just plugging everything in just like normal. iPhone 7 Plus, you should already know how to be doing this. Oh yeah, and I forgot the top screws here too, to the charge port. You need that so that the sound works, obviously, because it has to connect to the charge port, the loudspeaker. Just switching bits to different bits for different things. This is the Y bit, and I was just using the regular Phillips. Okay, this phone should not be boot looping anymore and should be coming alive. So I don't have a cord long enough to show you guys that it works, but you'll just have to trust me. I already tested the charge port as it is, so just do one more final check and make sure your loudspeakers are working and your microphone's working. All very important, okay? Anyways, this has been Dustin with TWPD. Please like it if you liked it. If you didn't, you know what to do. If you like this content, I'm going to keep on trying to release once a week different kinds of problems and solutions that we need to fix. And yeah, my goal is to do, one a week, hopefully. We'll see. Yeah, please subscribe. That would be very helpful. And tell your friends if you know somebody who needs to be a tech. I'm going to Phoenix here this summer, and I got location in Vegas and then throughout Utah. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.